Intermittent fasting is changing again, and in 2026, the rules are no longer the same. Many people are still following old advice. They skip meals, they extend fasts, they push harder, yet their fat loss has stalled. Their strength is dropping, their muscles are shrinking. This video explains why that is happening and what the new science says you should do instead. In this video, you will learn what has changed in intermittent fasting for fat loss and muscle building. You will learn why some popular fasting methods now work against your body. You will also learn how new research is reshaping the way fasting interacts with muscle growth, hormones, and metabolism. These are not small tweaks. These are fundamental shifts that affect how your body burns fat and protects muscle. Most people think intermittent fasting is only about eating less. That idea is outdated. New findings show that timing, recovery, and protein signals matter more than extreme calorie cuts. Many fasters unknowingly trigger muscle breakdown while trying to get lean. That muscle loss slows metabolism and makes fat loss harder over time. This video breaks down how that process happens and how to stop it before it ruins your results. There is also a major change in how fasting affects muscle building. For years, fasting and muscle growth were seen as opposites. In 2026, that belief no longer holds. Researchers now understand how short fasting windows can support muscle, but only when specific conditions are met. Miss those conditions, and the body chooses survival over strength. Stay with us, because this part alone could change how you train and eat forever. Another lesser known factor is hormones. Cortisol, insulin, and growth signals decide whether fasting works or fails. Long fasts under stress raise cortisol. High cortisol blocks fat loss and accelerates muscle breakdown. This is why many disciplined people see worse results than expected. In this video, you will learn how newer fasting strategies reduce hormonal stress instead of increasing it. Sleep and recovery also play a bigger role than most people realize. Fasting without recovery pushes the body into conservation mode, fat loss slows, energy drops, cravings rise. These effects are often blamed on willpower, but the real cause is biological. We will explain how recovery has become a core part of intermittent fasting in 2026, not an optional add-on. You will also discover who intermittent fasting is no longer ideal for. Not everyone benefits from it anymore. Certain body types, training levels, and stress loads respond better to different approaches. Ignoring this can lead to plateaus that feel impossible to escape. Understanding this distinction can save months of frustration. By the end of this video, you will know how intermittent fasting has evolved. You will understand the new priorities for fat loss. You will know how to protect muscle while staying lean. And you will see why the smartest approach now beats the hardest one. These insights are rarely explained clearly, yet they make all the difference between progress and burnout. So stay with us until the end. The final takeaway ties everything together and reveals the biggest mistake people still make with intermittent fasting in 2026. Welcome to our channel, where we break down complex health and fitness science into clear, practical ideas you can actually use. If you want to stay ahead of outdated advice and learn what really works now, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let us begin. Intermittent fasting is often misunderstood. Many people think it is a special diet. It is not. It does not tell you which foods to eat or which foods to avoid. At its core, intermittent fasting is about timing. It focuses on when food enters the body, not only on what is on the plate. The body responds differently to food depending on timing. When you eat, insulin rises. Insulin helps move nutrients into cells. When insulin stays high all day, fat burning slows down. Intermittent fasting creates longer periods when insulin remains low. During these periods, the body can access stored fat more easily. This is one reason fasting became popular for fat loss. Calories still matter, but timing changes how calories are used. Eating the same amount of food in a shorter window can reduce mindless snacking. It can also improve appetite control. Many people naturally eat less without counting every bite. This effect comes from hormonal shifts, not discipline. Recovery is another key part that often gets ignored. Every meal signals the body to switch from breakdown to repair. Fasting delays that signal. When used correctly, this can improve cellular cleanup and metabolic efficiency. When used poorly, it can delay recovery and increase muscle breakdown. The body does not know your goal. It only responds to signals. This is where the purpose of intermittent fasting has changed. In the past, the main goal was weight loss through restriction. Longer fasts were praised. Hunger was seen as progress. Today, the focus is different. The goal is not to eat less at all costs. The goal is to send better signals. Intermittent fasting now works as a tool, not a rule. It is used to organize eating around training, sleep, and stress. It supports fat loss while protecting muscle. It adapts to the body instead of forcing the body to adapt. The timing of meals is no longer random. It is intentional. Older intermittent fasting methods were built on one simple idea: eat less for longer periods. The longer the fast, the better the results. This approach worked for some people in the short term, but it came with hidden costs. Those costs are now impossible to ignore. Long fasting windows place the body under prolonged energy stress. When food stays absent for too long, the body looks for fuel. Fat is one option, but muscle is another. Muscle tissue is metabolically active and easy to break down. Without regular protein signals, the body starts using muscle to maintain blood sugar and basic function. Fat loss may still happen, but muscle loss happens alongside it. Low protein intake makes this problem worse. Many older fasting styles compressed eating into short windows without prioritizing protein. Meals became rushed. Protein intake dropped without people realizing it. Recovery suffered, muscles failed to repair properly after training. Over time, strength declined. The scale might move, but performance moved backward. Stress hormones add another layer of damage. Long fasts raise cortisol, especially when combined with intense training and poor sleep. Cortisol is not the enemy, but chronically high levels change how the body stores and releases fat. Fat loss slows, water retention increases. Hunger signals become stronger. The body enters a defensive state instead of a fat-burning one. This is why many people now report feeling weaker instead of leaner. Energy levels drop, workouts feel heavier, motivation fades. The body adapts by conserving energy rather than burning it. What once felt disciplined starts to feel exhausting. The problem is not intermittent fasting itself. The problem is how it was used. Old methods pushed endurance instead of balance. They ignored recovery, protein timing, and hormonal response. As a result, many people unknowingly worked against their own physiology while trying to improve it. In 2026, the priority has shifted. Muscle is no longer an afterthought. It is the foundation. Fat loss without muscle leads to a smaller, weaker body that burns fewer calories at rest. This approach may reduce scale weight, but it often leaves people tired and frustrated. That outcome is no longer acceptable. Muscle plays a direct role in metabolic health. It requires energy even when the body is at rest. The more muscle the body holds, the higher its baseline calorie use becomes. This means fat loss becomes easier to maintain. Without muscle, the body adapts by slowing metabolism. Progress stalls even when food intake stays low. Muscle also acts as protection. It stabilizes blood sugar. It improves insulin sensitivity. It helps the body handle stress more efficiently. When muscle is preserved, the body does not feel threatened. It does not cling to fat as a survival response. This is why muscle is now seen as a fat loss ally, not an obstacle. New intermittent fasting styles reflect this shift. They are designed to protect lean tissue. Fasting windows are adjusted to reduce muscle breakdown. Protein intake is planned, not accidental. Training signals are supported instead of suppressed. The goal is to keep the body strong while reducing excess fat. Starvation-based thinking is fading. Longer fasts are no longer praised by default. The question is no longer how long you can go without eating. The question is how well the body functions during the fast. Preservation matters more than deprivation. In this updated approach, fasting becomes a support system. It works alongside resistance training, sleep, and recovery. Muscle is treated as a valuable asset. Every decision is filtered through one principle: protect strength first, and fat loss follows naturally. Fasting windows are no longer about pushing limits. Shorter windows are now proving to be more effective for both fat loss and muscle protection. Instead of stretching fasts as long as possible, newer approaches focus on consistency and recovery. The body responds better when energy restriction is controlled, not extreme. Flexibility has become a key factor. Strict schedules create unnecessary stress. Eating at the same rigid times every day does not account for changes in activity, sleep, or training load. When the body is forced into a fixed pattern, stress hormones rise. Flexible fasting adapts to real life. It allows eating windows to shift slightly while maintaining the overall structure. Training days and rest days are no longer treated the same. On training days, the body needs fuel to repair muscle and support performance. Eating earlier or extending the eating window can improve recovery and strength output. On rest days, slightly longer fasts may help with fat utilization. This variation sends smarter signals to the body instead of confusing it. Timing now matters more than total fasting duration. When meals are placed closer to training, muscle protein synthesis improves, recovery accelerates, energy levels stay higher. Fasting earlier in the day or later in the day creates different hormonal responses. Understanding this timing allows fasting to work with the body instead of against it. Shorter fasting windows also improve adherence. People feel less deprived, hunger becomes manageable, social life improves. These factors reduce stress, which directly impacts fat loss. The goal is not endurance, the goal is alignment. In this evolved approach, fasting becomes a tool for structure, not punishment. Each window serves a purpose. The body receives clear signals, strength is maintained, fat loss continues without constant fatigue. Protein timing has become one of the most important factors in modern intermittent fasting. It is no longer enough to simply hit a daily protein target. When protein is consumed matters just as much as how much is consumed. During fasting periods, the body shifts toward breakdown. Protein intake sends a clear signal to stop that process. Without timely protein, muscle tissue becomes vulnerable. The body does not wait for long-term plans. It responds to immediate availability. Strategic protein intake helps reduce muscle loss during energy restriction. It tells the body that muscle is still needed and should be preserved. Distribution plays a larger role than total calories. Eating all protein in one large meal does not provide continuous muscle support. Muscles respond best to repeated signals throughout the day. Spreading protein across meals improves muscle protein synthesis and reduces breakdown. This approach works especially well within shorter eating windows. Early protein intake has gained attention for its impact on muscle signaling. Consuming protein earlier in the eating window helps activate growth pathways. It prepares the body for training and improves strength output. This early signal reduces the risk of muscle loss later in the fast. Late protein intake supports recovery. Muscles repair and adapt during rest. Protein consumed later in the day provides the building blocks needed for this process. It also helps stabilize blood sugar overnight, reducing stress hormone release. In fasting-based routines, protein acts as an anchor. It shapes how the body interprets the fast. With proper timing, fasting does not feel like deprivation. It feels controlled and purposeful. Muscle remains protected while fat loss continues. The body receives clear instructions instead of mixed signals. Intermittent fasting cannot build muscle on its own without resistance training. The body has no reason to keep muscle tissue. During calorie restriction or fasting, the body looks for efficiency. Muscle is expensive to maintain. If it is not used, it is removed. Strength training provides the signal that muscle is required. Lifting weights creates controlled stress. This stress tells the body to adapt and grow stronger. When this signal is present, fasting shifts from a risk to a tool. The body chooses to burn fat instead of muscle. Without resistance training, fasting sends the wrong message. The body interprets long gaps without food as a threat. Muscle becomes a fuel source. Strength drops. Metabolism slows. This is why fasting without training often leads to a softer, weaker physique. In 2026, frequency matters more than intensity. Training does not need to be extreme. Consistent sessions send repeated growth signals. This approach improves recovery and reduces injury risk. It also works better alongside fasting windows. Shorter, regular workouts fit naturally into modern fasting strategies. They support muscle retention without overwhelming the nervous system. Strength training becomes a constant reminder to the body. Muscle is essential. It should be protected, not sacrificed. Hormones quietly control the success of intermittent fasting. Cortisol plays a central role. It rises during stress, long fasts, and lack of sleep. Short increases are normal, but constant elevation changes how the body behaves. Fat loss slows, muscle breakdown increases. The body shifts into protection mode instead of progress. Many people blame discipline when results fade. In reality, poor sleep is often the cause. Sleep regulates hunger hormones, insulin sensitivity, and recovery signals. When sleep quality drops, fasting becomes harder and less effective. Cravings increase, energy crashes become common, fat storage becomes more likely, even with fewer calories. Recovery now outweighs sheer effort. The body responds better to balance than pressure. Training, fasting, and daily stress all add load to the system. Without proper recovery, these signals stack up. Cortisol remains high, fat loss stalls, strength declines. Stress management is no longer optional. It is part of the fasting strategy. Breathing, light movement, and structured rest help lower stress hormones. These practices improve how the body interprets fasting. When stress is controlled, fasting works with the body instead of against it. Intermittent fasting is not suitable for everyone in 2026. People with very low body fat often lack the energy reserves needed to support fasting. Their bodies are already efficient and lean, adding long gaps without food can increase muscle loss and hormonal stress instead of improving composition. Chronic stress and poor sleep also change how fasting affects the body. When stress is constant, cortisol stays elevated, fasting adds another stress layer. Instead of burning fat, the body becomes defensive. Energy drops, recovery slows. In these conditions, regular meals often produce better results. Beginners without strength training face a similar issue. Without resistance training, there is no signal to preserve muscle. Fasting amplifies muscle breakdown during early adaptation phases. This can lead to rapid weakness and stalled progress. Building a training foundation first creates safer conditions for fasting. People chasing extreme results too quickly often misuse fasting. Longer fasts and aggressive restriction seem productive at first. The body adapts by slowing metabolism and increasing fatigue. Patience matters more than intensity. Fasting works best when applied strategically, not desperately. The goal of intermittent fasting has become more refined. It is no longer about pushing the body to its limits. Sustainable fat loss now takes priority. This means reducing body fat without triggering rebound weight gain or constant fatigue. The focus is on steady progress that the body can maintain. Stronger muscles are part of this goal. Muscle supports movement, posture, and metabolic health. When strength improves, daily energy use increases. Workouts feel better. Recovery improves. Fat loss becomes a side effect of a stronger system, not a forced outcome. Energy levels matter more than before. Fasting should not drain focus or motivation. When energy stays stable, training quality improves. Productivity rises, hunger becomes manageable instead of overwhelming. These signals show that the body is responding well. Long-term consistency has replaced extremes. Harsh rules lead to burnout. Flexible structure supports adherence. Small adjustments outperform aggressive cuts over time. Intermittent fasting now fits into life instead of taking control of it. The method works best when it feels sustainable, repeatable, and aligned with how the body actually functions. Intermittent fasting still works. The difference in 2026 is how it is used. Old rules focused on endurance and restriction. New understanding focuses on signals, recovery, and preservation. When fasting aligns with how the body actually functions, fat loss becomes more stable and muscle stays protected. Science has made one thing clear: progress does not come from suffering longer, it comes from working smarter, shorter fasts, better timing. Enough protein and proper training create better outcomes than extreme discipline. The body responds to balance, not punishment. The people seeing the best results are not pushing the hardest. They are listening to feedback. Energy stays high, strength improves. Fat loss happens without constant struggle. This is what modern intermittent fasting looks like. As research continues to evolve, methods must evolve with it. Holding on to outdated strategies only slows progress. The smartest approach wins in 2026, not the most extreme one. If this video helped you understand intermittent fasting in a new way, support the channel by liking this video. It helps more people see content like this. Subscribe to the channel for clear, science-based fitness and nutrition insights that actually work. We will see you in the next video.